Hello, friends. Joe Lynch here from the Logistics of Logistics. Just got back from Manifest, and I wanted to talk to my friends from ITS Logistics, but I missed them. So we are doing that quick catch up now. So, Tom Larson, please introduce yourself and your company and where you're calling from today.
Yeah, for sure. And Joe, sorry we missed you, but I'm glad that I'm here today. My name's Tom Larson. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales and Account Management here at ITS Logistics. I am based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, but I'm actually calling in from our South Center here in Fort Worth, Texas.
So you just got to basically take a short drive over to Manifest. Life is good for you.
It was good and easy back and forth.
Yeah. So please tell us a little bit about ITS Logistics. What do you guys do? What problems do you solve, and who are your main customers?
Yeah. So ITS Logistics, we've been around for 25 years. We started off as a small asset-based company with a distribution footprint up in Reno, Nevada. And over the last 25 years, we've really expanded. I would say from who ITS is, we're really a people and customer first organization. We're making sure that we're deliberate where we add value into our customer supply chains. And that can be through a number of different ways, right? We've got on the inbound side, we've got our drayage solutions where we operate out of 52 different ports here in North America. And we tie that all together with our container AI platform that gives customers 100% end-to-end visibility from port to door. And then as we think about it from just inventory at rest, we also do have 4 million square feet of distribution and fulfillment. Omni-channel services that we offer in 3 key markets, which would be Reno, Dallas, and the Indianapolis area. Outside of that, as we start to think about more from the outbound or middle mile perspective as well, we have our own private fleet, which with about 50 tractors that operate in the Reno, Nevada markets and Dallas markets as well. Really running 250-mile radiuses around those areas to service our customer base. We are also an asset-light third-party logistics provider with over 3,500 branded ITS trailers within our network that offer customers drop trailer solutions and flexibility for dedicated type of solutions and services in the truckload space. And then we back that all up with our vast brokerage network that really helps solve key problems for customers in the truckload, flatbed, and LTL spaces as well.
Very nice, very nice. So I knew about you guys first because I saw on one of the business news channels, they were saying the ITS Port and Rail Index. And then I saw a presentation with ITS and lead coverage at Transportation Marketing and Sales Association. So talk a little bit about that Port and Rail Index you guys have.
Yeah, for sure. So our Port and Rail Index is really, insights that we compile from our customer base and also internally. It's really led by our Vice President of Global Supply Chain, Paul Brashear, where we give key insights based off of the data and the insights we pull that are able to then, give out back to the market and to our customer base about what's really happening within the North American market.
Yeah, and I know we'll get into some of your reflections on Manifest, but one of the things I talked to a lot of people about at Manifest was when it came to freight forwarding is the expectations are so high now. I worked in automotive and I shipped things overseas and received stuff from overseas, and it just took forever. And there was no expectation that, hey, there is a problem with that lane. Do it differently. It was just like, no, it's an extra 2 weeks. What are you going to do, right? And now I think we learned during COVID and also with the drought down in Panama and the stuff going on in the Suez Canal that you have to be available and ready to pick that container up at any port. And that's what's changed. And I think now we'll discuss the tariffs in just a sec. Same thing with the tariffs. Somebody said, tomorrow it's going to start being made here, or we're going to be shipping a lot to a warehouse in the U.S. We got to move fast now.
Yeah, for sure. And no, we understand that very well. I mean, about a third of our business operates in the drayage sector here in North America. We're staffed 24/7, 365 with drayage experts to help service our clients. And that's really why we developed that container AI platform to not only give customers that visibility from port to door, but also give them insights into where their containers at. How do they avoid or get proactively warned on potential detention and demurrage costs and things like that, so we can help mitigate some of the costs on those ends for them.
And this is I know you probably agree with me, of course, but a lot of very large transportation companies are weak in drayage. They'll say, oh, we work with some other guy. And that's some of the time you run into this thing where you say, oh, well, we can move you to any port you want, either New York or New Jersey or Port of Virginia. And you go, well, what about the West Coast? Oh, we don't cover the West Coast. So, of course, all their suggestions are for the East Coast because that's where they're based. And most drayage companies are relatively small. They're not particularly tech savvy. And I don't mean any insult to the drayage companies. It's just that's the nature of them.
Yeah. And I think it just shows, it's a testament to the relationships that we've been able to build with drayage providers across Canada and the US. But then also from a solution standpoint, giving customers flexible, easy options to engage ITS in order to find solutions at all the different ports, whether it's ocean or inland, that they need services and solutions for.
Yep. All right. Well, let's talk about some of your reflections on Manifest. So, Manifest was wonderful and exhausting. I've called it, I mean, the official name is Manifest, the Future of Supply Chain and Logistics. But I saw Courtney just before it ended. And I said, I was calling it the Supply Chain Super Bowl and also the Supply Chain Reunion because it feels like it when you're there. So, your first reflection.
Yeah. So, as I was talking with you a little bit earlier before, it was my first time actually being at Manifest. And I would say it exceeded my expectations. I thought it was really well organized. It was great to catch up with current and potential new customers. But then it was also just exciting to see all the new tech and all the new AI that's really hot, that's really prevalent out in the market right now.
Yeah, you said before we hit the record button is this year AI is reality. And and I think last year it felt like we were in like a AI readiness or let's figure it out. Now it feels like it's increasingly part of our normal business.
I 100% agree. I think last year, AI was the talk, but now you're actually starting to see the walk from it, right? I mean, the fact that AI is now starting to transform logistics from operations to enhancing shipment routing, exception management, or even just general logistics sales training. Like it's starting to really move forward, and you can start to feel how it's being integrated into logistics and just supply chains across the board.
Yeah, I just interviewed David Bell he's one of the founders of Lean Solutions Group. He's got a new company called Clone Ops AI, and it's basically virtual phone assistants. And he said, we're getting more and more used to that in our personal life when you go make a reservation. And, I think all of us will get used to it, but more than anything, we always want to be able to escape, right? If you say, operator, please connect me with the operator, it'll escalate it. But if you can start to use some of those AI agents, oh boy, that really makes it a lot easier to get the right margin that we're all looking for.
I think so too, but like I mentioned maybe earlier at the beginning of our conversation of ITS Logistics, we're a people and customer first driven organization. And so when we think about AI or technology that we either create or that we bring into our organization, it's all to support our people and support our customers to solve problems that they have. We're never going to take the human element out of it. You need that in this industry, but there's definitely ways where you can inject it to make their day more efficient, more productive, but always having that personal touch.
Yeah, we always have to figure out where the boundaries at. So besides AI becoming a reality, what's some other thing that you were impressed about over at Manifest?
Yeah, I think from an impressed standpoint would be just the sheer number of startups that were very specific and they're offering tailored solutions, whether that was in auditing or fulfillment or just the number of robots that were out there on the
Every
floor,
aisle,
right?
every aisle.
Yeah, and I talked to a lot of companies that were focused just on, new ways to optimize, whether it's freight, tractors, a lot of sustainability. So I think just, the very specific niche areas that companies are focused in was really stood out to me as well.
Yep. And I know before we hit the record button today, you talked a little bit about tariffs, and I know that's a big part of everybody's discussions at Manifest. What did you have to tell some of your customers?
Yeah, I think, a lot of good conversation that we had around tariffs, just how are companies adapting to and what kind of conversations are they having? And a lot of the feedback that we got was there's a lot of uncertainty still. And so a lot of companies are coming up with multiple contingency plans, right? If A happens, we do B. If C happens, we do D. And so like these different options that are out there for them to kind of choose from. But right now, it's kind of like, hey, we've got a game plan, but we can't implement it until we know the rules we're playing with, right? So I think those were a lot of our conversations, and that was across automotive customers, retail customers. I mean, across the spectrum and verticals.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think for the most part, I'm not worried about the tariffs with Canada or Mexico. I think ultimately we're going to have really smooth relations with them. I think the tariffs with China are there to stay, and we're going to end up bringing a lot of that supply chain home, but it's not going to be overnight. And again, that's just going to be more supply chain rejiggering. And I'm not just saying this because you guys have that huge footprint, but I think this is why you work with companies who can actually be strategic and give you some consultative advice as opposed to, hey, we'd prefer you ship to and from New Jersey because that's where we have our operations at.
I agree with you. I think it comes down to just shippers need to make sure that they have options, right? Whether that's reassessing their carrier strategies based on new trade lanes or new modes of service, or just how they need to maybe adjust to nearshoring, things like that. And I think they also have to have options from a supplier standpoint, right? Does it make sense to move suppliers if you're based heavily in China down into Vietnam or into other countries like that as well? So I think it's just about having options and then understanding what is that long-term cost impact that the tariffs will have, and seeing where can you cut out other costs in order to mitigate some of those increases.
I spent the early part of my career moving stuff to China. Now as the end of my career, I start to bring it all back. You're welcome, everyone. So I like it. I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. We're talking about Manifest. And again, first we talked about, also you mentioned before hit record button, the app. The Manifest app is awesome, and you can connect with everybody, and then you can get all your connections in one CSV file, which is fantastic. We talked about how AI is really becoming a reality that we're starting to use. We also talked about all the great conversations you had with your customers, your prospects about tariffs and everything else. Anyway, put a big old bow on this one, Tom Larson. Final thoughts.
Manifest, great show. I would recommend people to go there. And if you ever need North American transportation assistance, you know who to reach out to.
Yes.
ITS Logistics.
So I will put a link to your LinkedIn profile, link to your website, and any other links you and your marketing team give me. I'll put those in the comments so people can reach out and talk to you. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm sorry I missed you at Manifest, but at least we got to connect here.
Hey, next time. Thank you. I appreciate the time, Joe.
Thank you very much.
You have been listening to the Logistics of Logistics podcast, where we engage with leaders in the logistics and supply chain community. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, hit the like button, and leave us a nice review on Apple or Spotify or wherever else you listen. Also, please check out our videos on YouTube and connect with us on LinkedIn. We're very big on LinkedIn. And you can also reach us on the logisticsoflogistics.com, our website.